Hi everyone, welcome to another show of the Spinners Lounge. And again, this is a Fracture Recordings edition. And again, we've got another guest. Like, if you watch the other videos, again, the objective with what we're doing with Fracture, especially the Spinners Lounge, is to kind of get an insight to all the people that are part of Fracture, and what you see as we get more people on is that there's a big community that's now involved with Fracture in different ways. And last time we sort of featured the brand manager. This week we're going to take a different aspect and look at someone who's doing something different with the label. So without wasting much time and with Spinners Line tradition, we're going to let the guests introduce themselves and say hi.
Hello. My name's Simma Dj, also known as Simeon Clarke. And yeah, I'm a DJ and support Fracture Recordings.
Okay, cool. Right. So with everyone that features, obviously, there's always a story of how they got to know Boski. So what's your relationship with Boski? How did you get to meet him?
Well, really it was through social media. I got to know Boski, sent me over a few tracks. I played him on my radio show. Sent me over a good few of his first bits of production. Gave me a few exclusives and stuff before he gave them out to other DJs. And then, it moved on from there, really. Just built up a relationship, became good mates, been out a few times, stuff like that. And, that is me and Boski, really.
Was that before he started the label, or?
Yeah. This was, I don't know, probably maybe about a year or so before he started the label. Yeah, a little while. But yeah, I've only been doing it a few years, but we'll get into that.
No, cool.
Yeah.
So, obviously, from what we discussed earlier, because most people who I've known from the label, they're either producing and have tracks on there.
Yes.
But obviously, you're just a DJ. But just tell us a little bit of what you're going to be doing with Fracture. I know it's not immediate, but it's down the line. Kind of talk to us, kind of what you're going to be doing.
Well, with Fracture, I'm always playing their stuff, whether it's on radio or out when I'm playing out in a club, bar, whatever I'm doing. And then in the future, when they have their events, I'll be playing at their events like 100%. I produce as well, just started. I've just started. About a year or so into production now. And again, Boski taught me the ins and outs of production. He's like my tech support, always phoning him and I've got a problem, like, Boski, need some help, can't do this, or something's happened or whatever. So so in the future, I'll definitely have maybe a release or a remix or something like that. But that's where I'm at with Fracture at the minute. I think that's about it. It doesn't seem like a lot, but there's things that they're doing in the future that I will be involved in.
Yes.
Like, I think as well, another guy on the label, Caraman, Matt Seaton. One of his tracks I first played as well, which then was signed to Fracture as well. So that was a promo that I got from him. I was playing that and moved on, and he's part of the crew as well. So I'm in there, in the mix, in the mix with Fracture.
No, that's the thing I like about one of the things I like about Boski, and when now I've talked to I think 4 or 5 different people now. And the one thing that keeps popping up is his use of social media. But then he's not just using social media; he does make a connection off it
Yes,
as well,
yeah,
which I think
definitely.
is important. It's not
Yeah,
just
yeah.
connect with you
Yeah,
on social media, ask you, drop you
100%.
this and that, but he actually goes beyond that. So, which is kind of cool, and I
Yeah.
think speaks volume for him.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, yeah. He's
No, that's cool.
he's a really good lad,
Yeah,
definitely.
yeah. Like well, I know there's lots of things planned
Yeah,
and lots of
yeah,
things coming,
yeah.
so it would definitely be a joy to see
Yeah,
what you're
yeah,
involved with and
yeah,
what
yeah,
comes
yeah,
out as
yeah.
well. So, right, because I want to dive in now,
Mhm.
right? We want to go back a little bit, yeah,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
all the questions I always ask for the spinning lounge, the way I see it, and I always tell everyone, it's like a timeline. Do you know what I mean? We start from like kind of where you grew up. Tell us a little bit about your background, you know, your
Yeah,
musical journey from what you know that time
yeah,
into
yeah.
your DJing, your style, and then technology, you know, decks and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So, first question we dive in is tell us a little bit about sort of your background and where you grew up.
Oh, from southeast London, Lewisham. Grown up there all my life. Still live there now. I've moved around a little bit, but not anywhere too far. um, yeah, and that is where I come from. My music background. I've got an older brother, sister. Listen to them, what they've been playing. I think I mentioned earlier on that like the bigger influence out of them two was my sister because she was a bit closer to my age group and the stuff that she used to listen to, which was like jungle, prodigy, stuff like that, a bit of indie, and yeah, and that's sort of my influence apart from my parents, which sort of traditional Caribbean reggae, things like that, bit of soca, and you get what I mean. Like, so yeah, it's funny though because like with that, like you sort of used to not like it, or you used to like it, but you didn't really like it because it was your parents' music, innit? So then you grow up, and now you're like you hear a tune, and you're like, oh yeah. Like you get like excited, but I think it's more the memories that flood back that makes you like that. So that was it really for my influences. My brother was into like hip hop and stuff like that, so I had a lot of that like sort of NWA, Public Enemy sort of stuff hearing in the house. Then me personally, I really got into like music and raving in the jungle era, like of maybe about 94 to 96, sort of showing my age here, but that's
It's a good age. That's the kind of time I resonate with because obviously I can remember '94 clearly. Like, I just come out of school, I was 18. I was still
yeah.
at college. You know, I think at that time I started getting a bit bored of collecting flyers and all that kind of
Yeah. I done that. Flyers
getting
on the
up to
wall.
no good. And all. Yeah, so it's good times. It's
Yeah,
good times, you know.
So yeah, that was me. Same like the jungle. That was me. Like if I'm in a mood or anything, like listen to a bit of jungle, Steve Rapidi or something, and I'm nice. I'll be all right. So yeah, that was my upbringing. Then it sort of changed into garage after that. The music sort of started changing, and as it does, it goes into different genres of music. So it went into garage, which I didn't really take to too much. I listened to it, but it was more because everybody was listening to it. That was the in thing.
It was popular at the time, innit?
Yeah.
That was the popping thing, innit? Everyone just got into
Yeah,
it.
so that's how I got into that. But really, jungle was where my heart was at. And then a few years later on down the line, I got into like a bit of techno. Like I went out with my mate a couple of times, and he used to go to these really late hour raves that just went on till God knows when, like over in like East London and stuff like that. And that was what got me into that sort of sound, basically, and then progress from there. So that's that's sort of my musical background to where I am now, really.
Yeah, I think you had the back sort of growing normal sort of family environment like everyone else, especially the Caribbean background. Innit? You're always going to hear Sunday, you're going to hear the kind of tunes, and you always get the brothers and sisters influencing you. So what you've experienced is really kind of normal within that kind of culture.
Definitely.
You kind of answered all the questions really, which is good, right? So you've actually now fast forwarded. No, it's cool. So no, it's good. So you actually done me a favor. So you actually brought it forward to right. We've got the influences that right from home. Obviously, you got the home, which obviously is home, but you can't really do nothing about it. That's what's there. Then you get the influences from your brother and your sister. Then you obviously start to discover music for yourself. Obviously, jungle, and then obviously at the time, I think a lot of people gravitated towards. I think everybody made that kind of journey: jungle, garage. Then after the end of that, I think everybody then you kind of find your own path. What I really
definitely.
Like. Then obviously, said delved into like techno, and that kind of thing. So I always try and marry the idea of how did you go through this musical journey growing up and all these influences now, and then reach to the point of right, I want to start DJing, because obviously, as we was discussing earlier, it's kind of happened much later. So
sorry, to sort of cut you there, but I started DJing late. I'm a late starter with DJing, really late. Been 3 years nearly finished, and I really got into that from again going out and raving. I'm a hard raver. Like I'll rave in it, and if it doesn't, and if I'm not getting what I want fulfilled, I sort of not too happy with that. Do you get what I mean? So it's like I went off of raving. Started collecting. Well, to be honest, I'd always collected music. Some, not to a big extent, but I'd get music and just make CDs.
Right, just hold that for a minute, right? Because I was going to ask, do you have memories of buying your first sort of CD or thing? But but now, because you're talking about it, can you remember sort of? It probably might. I don't know. The first track you bought within this period you're talking about now? Because they might have, what I'm looking at is there must have been something that might have sparked, and that tune then was right. I'm getting this tune.
Yeah, what it was is I can't remember exactly what tunes. I can sort of remember what tunes got me going, like, and I really wanted them, like, and was really happy when I found them. I can remember a couple of those tracks when I first started, which was Carneo Beats House, and I think it's Martinez Brothers H to the Izzo. Them two tracks sort of I really wanted, and I was happy when I found those. One of them I had to pre-order, and I remember I was fuming. I was like, oh, I can't even buy it yet. Like, but that's the only tunes really, because like I said, I'm a late starter. What I collected before was mainly just for me to listen to in the car, like tracks like that I liked, and just getting bored of hearing the same sort of stuff. Like when I was going out or on the radio, it's just repetitive, and it was just getting on my nerves, really. Started teaching myself and went from there. Yeah, that's how I started, really. Sorry, the question that you asked, because I'm jabbering on about my music.
No, I'm listening. No, because you talked about, all right, now you started it, you buying tracks. Kind of explain how you then got into it.
Right. Yeah, that's where that's where we're at. So with getting into it and starting, it was that same thing. Raving got boring. Started collecting more music, making myself CDs. Then I was like, let me just learn how to DJ, teach myself. And I started on an iPad, got an app for an iPad. So all of the music that I had in my iTunes went onto that, started playing about. Then I brought a controller for it. started using that, and then what it came down to was a bit of my stubbornness, really, because I was like, this isn't what happens when a DJ plays out. They play on vinyl, or they're using now CDs and CDJs, stuff like that. So I wanted to learn that. I went from the controller to burning CDs, going down to my mate's studio where they produce. They had a DJ booth. I went in there and I was just in there for hours, just learning how to. I was literally down there every night of the week for hours on end, like ordering food to come, and just teaching myself, playing, literally going over a lot of the tracks again. So I was down there for hours. And then one day, I'm trying to keep the story down a little bit, cut it short, but another DJ who was a garage DJ, like back in the day, he heard me in the DJ booth, came in, had a little word with me. I sort of fobbed it off, like, whatever, mate. Like, I've only been doing it a little while, so didn't really pay too much attention to what he said. But then he came in a few more times, and after a while offered me a radio slot. Said that he's starting helping out an internet radio station that I'm on now, Confetti Digital. So he brought me on there. And yeah, I went from there. I had a 3-month trial. Done it. I was really nervous. Barely spoke. Yeah, it was an experience, but I'll always remember it. And like I said, before, I mentioned it was something that I always remember. I started my first radio show on the 1st of May, which is just before my birthday. So it will always stand out. So yeah, I had a really good journey from there. Just Confetti took me on, got me playing out in clubs like Pasha and stuff like that, and Egg. I first had a gig from Andy B, who brought me in Thomas a Beckett on Old Kent Road, which went really well. So I've done that, and then yeah, I've just moved on from there. Really, I've had a really lucky journey, I'd say, because like I spoke about earlier, for the short period of time that I've been doing it, I've had some really good experiences. I've played in some really good clubs. And yeah, it's just really gone on from there. Like, I've just literally caned it. And then another thing that I mentioned before is the social media. Because of the social media now, it's easier for you to get yourself out there. If it wasn't there, my journey wouldn't be where it was now in such a short period of time. Like, so I'm really grateful for that as well. Like, you just got to get yourself out there and be confident in what you're doing and go from there, really. But yeah, that's basically my DJing journey.
I've got 2 more questions in the DJ sort of format what we're talking about, right? But the first, because obviously you talked about, obviously it's clear that radio was your starting point.
Yeah.
Going from just learning, and obviously bringing from Andy V.
Basically,
helped you greatly. So, taking on board your experiences, radio, playing out. If you had one choice that you could pick between radio and playing out, what gravitates to you more? What would you say gives you the most joy as a DJ?
Playing out.
Playing out to a crowd, yeah?
Right, playing out. Right, I've had to think about that. But playing out, the reason why is because when you're playing on the radio, unless you've got a lot of interaction on your radio show, you don't actually know who you're playing to, what you're playing to. Like it's a blank screen that you're playing to. So you can't see the reaction. So this is what I'm boiling it down to. When you play out in a club and you've dropped a banging track and you got people going nuts, or they're coming up to you and like giving you a high five, shaking your hand, and Like you feel really good. Like that feeling is literally now what I do it for. Like that is what I do it for. It's not really anything to be like famous or well known or earn really good money. The money's good to come with it. Do you get what I mean?
Of
Like,
course.
but other than that, it's nothing apart from the passion of enjoying and now being on the other side of it, from being that raver, jumping up and down, going and slapping that DJ's hand and going, yeah, like, you just played this or whatever, blah, 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 to now being on the other side and having people doing that is now literally like what the passion is for, is, yeah, the music and just playing what I want to play, playing what I want to play and seeing that other people are enjoying that. That's basically...
That's what this is about, because it's about passion, definitely.
That's why I've chosen...
Playing out
over them too. Yeah,
that's cool. Right. The last question in sort of this DJ section, right, is you see the time when you was practicing and then before Andy B came in. Mm-hmm. Obviously, I want to know, right, you're practicing, yeah. Mm-hmm. Were there any? There's two questions to this question, right? Or two ways, 2 points to this question. The first point is, at that time in that studio. Practicing, were there any DJs that you were then sort of hearing about, looking up to at that point, and saying, right, I'm gonna, because you're learning in it and you're practicing as well, so you're trying to pick up something from them that you can use in yourself. So were they like, I normally say three, give for examples, maybe you can just give one or whatever, but at that particular time in that studio, were there DJs in your mind, people who you was now hearing, listening to? Because you was a raver as well, innit?
Yeah,
so you heard lots of guys, and there must have been guys who must have impressed you a lot,
right?
For you to say, okay, I like that guy. Yeah. So remember, the question is at that beginning. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. The people that I looked up to this is sort of a funny one, because I only really knew about my jungle DJs. That is who I followed. That is who I was into. So being a house DJ, I didn't really have anyone that I directly looked up to or anything like that. But what I did do was watched a lot of YouTube, like people like Cole Cox, James Zebiela. I don't think I know how to pronounce his name. But I used to watch, because it's two different in styles of DJing. Like Carl Cox is there, like pumping, like, and then James is more technical. He's playing about with gadgets, and I'm a gadget person. I like stuff that I can play with. So watching him, I saw different sides to it, and then I watched Jesse Perez one time playing, and I was like, right, okay. And that sort of got me into that sort of sound of tech house, sort of that American jacking sort of bass.
Right. Now, the last part of that is, all right, taking all this on board now, you DJed, you've had experiences, you played on radio, you've played out, you're well into the craft of DJing, right? Now, right, your three favorite DJs of all time. Those now, because you're in it now. You know what I'm saying, and you know what it's about. So, these guys are now the guys you say to yourself, right? They are, for me, legendary for this XYZ reason.
Yeah, right.
It always gets people, because you always think, because I can't give you a personal. I don't have favorites. I like lots of stuff. It's difficult. But again, like for me, I always say to people who ask me my favorite DJs, I always say Masters at Work, and I always feel like it's kind of easy. But I have my reasons, because kind of getting into the house that I like and exploring it. I liked what at that particular time of my life, that was what I liked the most. So, it's difficult. I know, but
Yeah,
You know, even if it's just one or two, you must have
all
a
right.
favorite
Yeah,
DJ.
no, definitely. Right. Well, I'd say, and this is over all genres.
All genres,
Right.
It's open.
Right. This, I'd have to say, is. Can I have a joint one?
You can have a joint.
Right. You just have a joint one.
Bit cheating.
Yeah.
You can have a joint one.
Right. Jungle. Jungle would have to be Brocky and Randall. Yeah.
Okay.
That is for their choice in music. In my time of jungle raving, they would literally always play the type of jungle that I would want to listen to and let loose. So I just have to have a joint one on the jungle
That's fine.
thing.
No, you know what? The two names you've given, yes, they're legendary. I grant that one. That one can pass.
Cool.
That one can pass.
All right. Outside of that, it would be Kill Frenzy from the Dirty Bird label. I went to see Dirty Bird one time at Fire, and they're literally my favourite label, like the stuff that they bring out. And I saw him play live, and I was like, oh gosh, right, okay, he's a real G. Like because he was dropping like some Biggie samples, bass lines, hip hop in with the tech house, and just bringing it down and like stuff that I think you have to have a lot of experience to be able to do. So I'd say Kill Frenzy on the tech house side of things, and then for like techno and stuff like that, it would have to be it would. Oh, see, I've got two people in my head now.
You know what? Because it's you, go on, you can pick two, go on, you can pick two. The two techno choices counts as one. The two techno choices counts as one. So go on, you can have it. You can have it.
Thanks. It would be Seth Troxler and Carl Cox, because of the way that they drop and play tunes. I like the journeys that they do. Like there's always some form of construction to how they play their music, and that's what I enjoy. I think good DJs always take you on a journey.
Definitely, and I think there's good choices there. Definitely, one and two. Yeah, you know, cool. No, excellent. Right. The next sort of question, because we haven't really touched on this, is now your style. Because it seems to me you're very, I use the word eclectic. Yeah? Which can be meaning. I don't know if it's a good thing for you. Is that what you like, where you want to be at?
Well,
so the question I have for you really, right, because we got to try and sum it up and not get too long, is, right, style. You told me, I don't want to box you into...
no.
I want to just kind of find out...
It's another sort of little short story.
Go on, we've got time. So go on, dive into your style.
I would say my style is tech house, like pumping tech house music. But my style led to that because when I first started DJing and learning, like I said, I used my iPad, so iTunes, and I was using Shazam a lot. I used to always use Shazam too. So the music that I first started playing was sort of what everyone else was playing to a certain extent. And I didn't really know how to find music. Like, it was a whole new world to finding music. So one day I was DJing in the booth and my mate was listening. As he would sometimes, he'd have a little break, listen to how I was getting on. And that night he hit home. He told me the home truth, and he said, your mixing is coming on really good. Like your DJing skills are coming on. He said, you're not a garage DJ. Stop chopping and all of that and blah blah. But this is what influenced me, was that sort of style of DJing. And he's like, you can't be doing that with what you're playing. Blah 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 blah. And he's like, the stuff that you're playing is SHIT, basically. He said, you're playing what everyone else is playing. That's what you said that you didn't want to be doing, but that's what you're doing. But I only knew how to find music through Shazam. So that's what I was using to practice with. So that was like a home truth. And he's like, find your own style of music. And that's when it led to me that I didn't realise what it was, is that when I was raving and I was listening to stuff, I didn't actually know what category anything came into. I was just a raver. So now it's a little bit more open. Everything's got a category, subcategory and stuff like that now. So it's more popular, like knowing what style everything is. So anyway, leading on to it is that I realised that I liked tech house over everything that I started searching, spending hours. I realised the sound that I was into was tech house. So that's why I'll say I'm a tech house DJ. But I like raving to techno. So I then started collecting techno as well, doing a few techno sets. And it doesn't put me in a box. But the flip side to that is that is the box that I want to be in. Do you get what I mean? Yeah. Like, that is where I want to be at. I don't want to be deep house, this house, new disco. Like, no, this is what I'm about. Like, I want to enjoy what I'm playing, so I enjoy tech house and techno. That's what I'm going to play, because I want to enjoy every set.
You have to bring a bit of what you like into it. I think, as we discussed before we started, I think that's what makes DJs these days, the ability to kind of find your own lane, what you like, and then sharing that experiences with people. Because at the end of the day, not everybody's always going to gravitate to what you're doing sometimes, but then you always have a core group of people who will identify with you. Because like I said to you earlier, I've come to this little quote that DJs just play more than music. You're creators, you know what I mean? So like, as in, what you doing, someone buys into it because that will fit into their thinking, their life, and that kind of thing. Okay, cool. Yeah. Last sort of question, really, to touch on is technology, right? But you already said you started off on the iPad, right? You then obviously had practice on the CDJs.
Yep.
So, where for the Spinners Lounge, the mix, what you're going to do for the mix? What is the equipment you've got now, and how the journey? How the journey to get to that? What you're using today?
Well, as you said, started off with that sort of iPad controller. Today, I'm going to be using a Pioneer DDJ Serato, DDJ SB2, and my MacBook. That's what I now use to play radio, because I find it easier to do. You can do your sets better. You can find your music a lot quicker. You ain't got to be floating through CDs. And do you get what I mean? It's a lot easier. And I wanted to be sort of in some form of way in date with what modern technology and what modern DJs, a lot of DJs are doing now, which is a laptop using the CDJs or a laptop using a controller. So, the next step for me would be getting the Serato eventually for the CDJs, because I just get more I don't know, you get more feel when you're playing out and stuff like that through the CDJs, but I still want the music from my laptop. So that's where I'm going to be going anyway eventually. But for today, the controller and laptop.
Cool. Do you know what? It's been good chatting, because I know you could chat some more, right? But I just wanted to touch on something before we sort of get to round up. Is that obviously you play out quite a bit, isn't it?
Yeah. I'll play out.
Just quickly, just kind of talk about the places you've played at, the promotions, and things that are going to be coming in the future. Well,
like, I can't remember if I said it throughout the interview or to you before. I've been very, very lucky in the way I've come into it, and I got looked after in my first half of my DJing career. So I went from Thomas & Beckett straight away. My next set was in Pasha in Victoria, and then I was in Pasha, I'd say, almost once a month to every other month, just depending on the promotion. I mainly played for Space Pasha Ibiza. And then, yeah, I've moved from there. I've played in XOYO, played in Lightbox, played in, like, Club 65 in Vauxhall. Gosh, where else? I've played around. I played at Club Batchwood. Some of these I've played at, like, sort of multiple times as well. Did I say Egg? Have I said Egg? No, I don't think I have. I played at Egg a few times. Now my main and very lucky is that I play at Ministry now. Yeah, roughly about every other month or so. I'm in there, so it's quite good. It's a really nice feeling when you play for a brand like Ministry of Sound and you get paid in the morning. You get paid the morning before you play, like, and you're like, oh, okay, this is what it's meant to feel like.
That's the high end. That's the high end.
Do you get what I mean? This is what these, like, big boys are getting. Obviously, nothing near what they get, but it's just nice to see, see it. So that's where I'm at the minute. Is my main goal is to really get into Ministry of Sound properly. That's my goal for DJing at this precise moment.
No, listen, playing there once, twice is a good thing. It always helps. So at the end of the Spinners Lounge, right? Because again, you know, if you're going to be playing at Ministry, how can people keep tabs of you? Yeah, so all DJs, everyone who comes on, kind of share, tell people where they can find you on social media. And find music. Do you have any mixes out?
I'm a bit slack at that at the minute, but they're right there.
But so social media first, and then where they can find your mixes and that. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So social media, you can find me on Twitter at Simeon Clarke DJ, which is spelled SIMEONCLARKE DJ. Facebook, same, Simeon Clarke without the DJ. And then you can get me on Instagram. Same for everything else is Simeon Clarke for Mixcloud, SoundCloud, Google Plus. I'm on literally every social network.
That's what they'll put in, Simeon Clarke DJ. Yeah, cool.
Right. Simeon Clarke DJ is only for the Twitter because someone had taken Simeon Clarke, so I had to add the DJ on that. Everything else is that.
Not to worry about. I will have all the links in the video description below. And again, because this is a Fracture Recordings edition, don't forget you can always go and check out Fracture Recordings, the catalog. There's a bunch of free releases that's been previously gone, so you can go and check those out, and there's obviously more coming. So again, just the links for Fracture, all the social media where you can find the music, all of that stuff's there. So guys, thanks for watching, and peace.